Greetings, Geechlings. Geechin Prime here with my review of One Piece Chapter 883, Mera Enda, which we find out what that is later, but I might as well specify. It's a Southern European snack time, which, okay, never heard about that. I like that Oda, incorporates world, little culture, bits and pieces. So, that's interesting. I like the multicultural aspects of One Piece. Okay, cover story of Ideo, and I should have looked up the other guy's name. I think he's one of the Bandit brothers or something. I don't know, he has 3 scars on his face or forehead. Ideo and that group, they entered that sea battle we saw last week, and they thrashed everybody on both sides. So it's well, you guys suck. We're gonna go on ahead. Then the chapter really begins with Luffy trying to go Gear 4th, which don't work. Katakuri does what nobody ever does in anime and manga. Is that it's why am I waiting for you to transform and get stronger when I can stop you right now? So, Mochi Trap. So, yeah. He buries Luffy in, mirror mochi. He, started bringing the mirror world down on top of Luffy. So now he's encased. And he's I've wasted enough time with you. I have more important business to deal with. Mera Enda. To be more precise, it's snack time. And if anybody... It's later when we found out that it was donuts that he was eating, in my head I was thinking of Stamper TV's Breakfast with Sushi, or Sushi's Breakfast. It's when he fed pancakes to his cat, and it's pancakes except donuts. I don't know. Anyway, weird thoughts. But yeah, and we find out a little bit more about Katakuri. He does not like anybody to see him eat. So while the chefs were bringing in a cartload of donuts, he encases them in mochi, which then forms into a mochi shrine. And it's I will go in there. No one is to disturb me. So what is he hiding? We find out. So, they're all praising him. It's it's so sad that he doesn't, eat with company, when your guard is down and all that kind of stuff. And it's that's what meals are all about. Then Luffy has, unsurprisingly, eaten his way through the mochi prison, whatever you want to call it, just mound of mochi. And they're how did he do that? And he's bah, I hate mochi. And it's why is it with all you people that I always have to eat to win my fights? So then he goes and runs off the mochi. Or no, wait, before he does that, he's where's Katakuri? And they're oh, he left the mirror world. Yeah, he left the world. And it's he's in that shrine, I can sense him. And it's damn it, he has armament hockey. Or, damn it, he has observation hockey. I messed it up. But, so, yeah, he can sense it. So they didn't seem to think of that. Why? I don't know. Pretty much if you have Conqueror's hockey, you have the other two. I mean, it just kind of goes hand in hand, right? So, why they didn't think about that, but whatever. Little funny moment. So, yeah. He runs off the mochi, comes back, they're what, can the human body even do that? He is not human. But, have you seen what he's been doing this whole time? But anyway, so then he just kind of punches the top of the shrine off with an elephant gun, and then we get the big reveal of why Katakuri eats alone. It's because he does let his guard down in some regards, and the mother side of him starts to come out. He's munching on those donuts while on his back, people. So Brulee's little speech last chapter is a total bust. He does have a weak spot, and it's snack time. Or I guess all meals, possibly. I'm not sure. But maybe he No, they mention that he never seems to eat with other people, so this is just him all the time, I guess. So yeah, and we see like his face is like real fat, which at first kind of like, oh, so that's why he covers it up with a scarf, right? But later he does like morph it back. It's just like Luffy, you know, his face stretches to accommodate more food. So yeah, and Luffy's like remembering Brulee's little speech, so that was funny. Well, anyway, he retains the normal shape of his face, and he's like, "You saw it, didn't you? My snack time scene." And Luffy's just ready to fight. It's not over yet, and the chefs are running away because they're going to be slaughtered by Katakuri. You saw what you should have never seen. Now I cannot let you live. And they're like, please, Lord, mercy. It's like, we wouldn't tell a soul, even if our mouths were torn open. And he's like, did you say something about, or whose mouth are you saying was torn? Remember his scars on his face. He's like the Joker in some regard, which I was hoping that was going to get eventually revealed, but hey, we got enough revealed about Katakuri for this chapter, so it was fine. And he reveals a new technique, Mochi, or Block Mochi. Mochi Block might have been better, but which is like an advancement of Armament Haki, because when he's fighting Luffy later on, he's like punching Luffy, and his hands kind of go all blocky, which makes sense, I guess. Is Mochi normally served in block or in a ball form? I don't know much about Mochi. I just know that it's a rice paste that they make into balls and stuff. But anyway, and he'd like blast. He had already speared one of the chefs, and then he just like punches the rest of them away. So they're dead. If they're alive after this, which, you know, like nothing characters, they never survive that kind of stuff. So all three chefs are dead. He just has to kill Luffy to keep his shameful acts hidden. And they start going off, and like they're clashing, and Luffy's hands are like going, what looks like they're going limp, and that's with Armament Haki on. So I'm not sure what principles that are going on in the Block Mochi, but it's interesting. He says that there are things that surpass armament, you know, so I guess he has an advanced form of Armament Haki, or is it because he's combining his Devil Fruit and Armament Haki together? I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Please leave a comment. But you know, it's like, I can't let you see my true form and all that kind of stuff. And Luffy's just over there going because I guess his hands are being heated up from the impacts. But Luffy gets in a lucky like upper kick on Katakuri's chin, and which must hurt when you have a mouthful of fangs, because he was bleeding. And it's like he didn't dodge it, but Katakuri was actually kind of let him hit him. But let's see, where did I leave off? Like, Luffy kind of realized what his power was, somehow, whatever, I'm not really sure. And he's like, well, what do you get? And then he does a Raindrop Mochi, which is just like extending the mirror world walls into like little whatever you want to call it. Because they weren't drops. I mean, they were like spires that he just controls. And then Luffy eventually gets into Gear 4th. And Luffy's like, you're definitely super strong, but you're not invincible. And then he goes in for a Kong gun, which knocks Katakuri back a bit, but it doesn't look like it's done that much, because he did still have Block Mochi activated, and he literally blocks with it. So, and that's where the chapter ends. So I would love to see Red Hawk employed. I mentioned that during my live reaction. So I think that might be the best way for victory for Luffy's case. Because, I mean, You have an awakened, almost Logia-like devil fruit user here. You need something. And I mean, hey, cooked mochi. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, overall, the chapter was great. I gave it a 5. Maybe I'll drop it down to a 4.5. Now that I've, absorbed it all a bit more thoroughly and everything. I still want to know what the whole block mochi thing, maybe it's because it's more refined than what we've seen him do is the reason. I don't know. That's the best thing I can come up with, really. But anyway, overall, great chapter. I recommend anybody read it just to see Katakuri's fat, stuffed face. I mean, his mother's side of the family was really coming through on that, right? But anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Geechlings, roll out.